Thursday, August 27, 1903. The Standard Union. Wife disappears with children. No trace of Mrs. George Tinpe of Greenpoint, who left home on Monday. Woman had been worrying. Took 6-year-old girl and baby with her. The police of Brooklyn, Manhattan, and nearby New Jersey cities have been requested to look for Mrs. Emma Tinpe, who, with her 2 children, Nellie 6 years old, and a baby 1 month old, disappeared from her home, 601 Morgan Avenue, on Monday morning. The husband of the woman, George Tinpe, is assistant foreman in the Flexible Floor Works on Kingsland Avenue. The Tinpes own the house in which they live, a neat 2-story cottage. Besides the girl Nellie and the baby, they have one son, Samuel, who is 8 years old. The family formerly lived in Gutenberg, New Jersey, where Tinpe's father is a well-to-do cigar manufacturer. When Tinpe left home Monday morning, his wife kissed him and acted as cheerful as ever. On returning home in the evening, he was met at the door by his son, who said his mother had left with the 2 children without saying where she was going. Tinpe thought his wife had probably received word to come over to Gutenberg, where the elder Tinpes had been ill, so he made no effort to find her that night. The next day, however, when he communicated with his relatives in New Jersey, he learned that his wife had not gone there. He then reported the disappearance to the police and left his home with his boy without saying where he was going. Neighbors of Mrs. Tinpe say that she has been in poor health since her last baby was born. They believe that the illness has affected her sanity and that she wandered away in a state of mental aberration. For several weeks before the baby was born, Tinpe was out of work owing to a shutdown at the factory, and worry over this may have added to his wife's distraction. When she left home, the neighbors say she carried only a small bundle. Mrs. Tinpe is described as 5 feet 8 inches tall, light complexioned, dark hair, and has 5 false teeth. She was dressed in black. She has 2 scars on the right side of her neck. Nellie, her daughter, and the baby were both dressed in white. Friday, August 28, 1903. The Standard Union. Still no trace of missing Mrs. Tinpe. The mystery surrounding the disappearance of Mrs. Emma Tinpe of 601 Morgan Avenue, Greenpoint, who took her 6-year-old daughter and her baby with her when she left home, is still as dark as ever. Her husband, George Tinpe, returned to his home yesterday after a vain search among relatives in Gutenberg, New Jersey. On the table, he found a note left by his wife, which simply had the word "goodbye" on it. This note had been overlooked before he set out to look for his wife. Mr. Tinpe fears that his wife has done violence to herself and children while insane. August 28, 1903. The New York Times. Mother and babes gone. Mrs. Tinpe disappears from her Williamsburg home with 3 children. George Tinpe, assistant foreman in a flour works, asked the Bedford Avenue Brooklyn police last night to help him secure tidings of his missing wife and children. With her babe and 5-year-old daughter Emma, Mrs. Tinpe disappeared Monday morning from their home at 601 Morgan Avenue, Williamsburg. She left behind her 8-year-old son, kissing him affectionately as she went. In Gutenberg, New Jersey, where the family formerly lived, Tinpe's father, a retired cigar manufacturer, lies ill. Tinpe supposed the woman had gone to see the old gentleman. He communicated with his relatives, but nothing had been seen of her or the children. Friends and relatives joined in the search, but up to last night, no trace of their whereabouts had been gotten, and in despair, Tinpe called upon the police. Tinpe said that his wife had been much depressed of late.